Okay, so I no longer have the same energy to tell the story the same way, but I end up, alright, so I end up going on a run, alright? I end up going on a run, and I hate it because my delivery was so much better than this is gonna be. But, like, I end up, going on a run, right? And I end up hearing this dog on the right, and I'm like, yeah, alright, they should be chained up and everything. And I end up, going, and I'm like, oh, and I end up hearing, like, this dog getting closer and closer. I hate telling the same story twice, I hate it. I hate this feeling. But, yeah, I end up, you know, this white pit bull, a little bit black, I think, I end up seeing it, it's chased me down and it's barked it. I'm saying it so boredly, because I've already told the story in the best way, but, like, I legitimately, and the thing was, there were 4 instances where I was, like, on this run, where I was like, is this the end? Is this the one? Is this the end of this hardcore world in real life? And I was like, alright, as this dog is barking at me, and one of the fear factors of it was, like, the fact it was a pit bull, and not simply because I was like, oh, pit bulls aren't naturally aggressive, but if they were aggressive, they're probably one of the most dangerous ones, for sure. Like, their bite power could literally, it's crazy, but, like, I end up, I'm like, oh gosh, there's a pit bull right in front of me barking at me, and I was like, hey, and it's nearing me too. It's nearing me. All right, I walk away slowly. I was like, hey, calm down. No, it's no problem. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And this is, like, obviously an incredibly stressful situation. Like, it's like one of those. All right, so he ends up, like, you know, and he ends up backing away a bit, I end up backing away a little bit, I'm like, I'm still acknowledging that I even put my hand out, like, being friendly, you know. I'm not gonna pet this dog. I'm not gonna pet this dog. I'm not. And I'm like, and as this dog is, you know, like, kind of trotting away, like, like nothing happened. I'm so jealous. I have no idea how he gets that, but I end up, I end up going, like, I end up continuing the run. I don't even end up going straight home. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to a convenience store. I decided I would do it. I'm gonna do it. And I end up continuing. I'm not continuing running. That's what got me in this mess. That's what started it. That's what the issue. That's where the issues all started, man. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna run for a little while. So I'm like, well, all right. So what should I do? Should I call the police? Should I just call 911? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the correct way to use it. So I end up, and I feel so like I haven't felt so, like, pathetic in a while, but like literally that was a situation. It was a humbling situation, man. It was humbling, quite frankly. But I end up, I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, I just got chased by a pit bull. Should I call 911? In Spark Notes, alright. In Spark Notes, that's what I said. But I was, alright, is it still recording?
I'm not gonna lie.
Is it still... Is it still...
That's what I said.
Alright, cool. But I ended up, and she's like, no, you should call the police, and I'm like, should I just call the police department of, this area that I'm in? And she's like, yeah, call the non-emergency number. And I was like, alright, cool, yeah. And, I end up calling them, you know, they're like, this area, um, police department, and I'm like, yeah, there's a pit bull, almost straight away, I'm like, yeah, there's a pit bull on this road, it ended up, like, chasing me, I ended up managing to calm it down, and by the way, this isn't verbatim, you think I memorized everything that happened there? No, but, essentially, I'm giving you spark notes of what happened. I don't remember the specific details, but are they really important with that kind of story? Come on, man. Come on. They are a little, I suppose. Like, in specific, but like, alright, moving on. I end up going more on this run, you know, and, right. No, it's a walk. I end up walking, I end up, like, telling the person, and they're like, alright, well, and I'm like, yeah, by the way, it's a pit bull. It's white, and it has a bit of black on it. I don't remember if that's actually 100% true. I know it was white for a fact, though. I know it was white. And I know it was a pit bull. I don't know if it was like a teen. It wasn't, like, big and beefy, but it was at least a teen. It was at least big enough to gnaw my foot, and, you know, like, get my foot probably. So that was pretty crazy. But I end up calling them. Oh, what did I do? Right, and they're like, all right, we'll send an officer, or she said, like, all right, we'll I'll tell an officer, and yeah, and I'm like, all right, cool, thank you, and you know, the call-ins. I end up essentially, I end up running or walking most of that way. I go to convenience store because that was the goal, you know, I had it in my head. I was gonna do it. I did it in my head, so I'm like, I'm doing it in real life now. But I end up going around this gas station, and this guy whose, like, car is right beside me for some. Like, I end up walking by, and his car is right there, and he's like, nice night for a walk, and I'm like, yeah, it's like plus 75 degrees or something. Like, yeah, it definitely is, yeah. But, like, of course I wasn't gonna drag that conversation out with the stranger, I don't know, I'm not gonna be like, hey, stranger, I don't know, it's been forever since we've talked, literally. I'm like, yeah, hey, what's up? Let's talk. Yeah, this pit bull just chased me down and everything. Let's walk and talk. No, like I'm not that kind of person with any stranger ever. I don't really talk to strangers. Like I literally don't talk to strangers unless, like, oh well, I feel like this is a good conversation. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, that was a wholesome conversation with a complete stranger that I'll never see again. Like, that's the most I usually get out of those situations. That's the most. Okay. But, I end up walking by, you know, like, yeah, pretty nice night walk, yeah. Pretty nice night, yeah. I end up walking a lot of the way home. Number 2 situation that kind of unsettled me. I end up basically just keep walking, you know. After there was a little bit of the run actually before that, where I end up like, oh dang, I can stream this. I can talk. Oh heck yeah! And I was gonna, and I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I could so make that title because, like, you know, it's the hardcore world, and I was like, oh yeah, and I was so excited for it. So I started running and bolting, you know. I ended up running and bolting so much on a sprint that I got exhausted, and I felt like just laying down on the sidewalk. I was like, no, not doing that. I'm continuing walking. You know, when I do run a lot of time and I decide to push myself, I usually push my limits. But like, yeah, I calmed down. I was like, I don't want to get to the level where I'm gonna need to crawl, or like I need to sit down. I'm alone in this one. I'm literally alone in the middle of the night. It's dark out. I need to go home. So I'm not gonna sit on the sidewalk but I end up going more home, you know. I end up walking more, and I'm like, you know, I caught my breath. I could run again if I wanted, but I end up walking, and I heard this person talking on my left, like about not even probably 20 feet away, and it's like there's all these houses around, and it's dark out now, so I'm like, well, dang, is this it? Is this it? Like, you know, like you can't help but think that way. You don't know. No one knows. You're not guaranteed for anything in life. Like, I remember I was on the beginning of this run, and I was like, should I think about, like, cherishing everything in my life? And I was like, nah, just keep going. Just keep going, man. I don't know why my brain was like that. I was like, should I keep doing it? And I was like, nah, no way. Like, my mind is just like, keep going, who cares? No. No, my mind was thinking about all this stuff. I was like thinking about like, I was like, a Pitbull just chasing me. Wow. Alright, and I'm also going to this convenience store. Look at me. And then I was also like, I also ended up, and this person, you know, I get far enough away, and I'm like, alright, cool, so I'm far enough away, unless they end up chasing me and bringing a knife or something, then I don't have to worry about it. But I end up, there we go. See, I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, I end up, walking more home, and that guy doesn't end up doing anything, you know, like, it ends up, as it happened, I happened to survive that situation. I know it's real surprising. I don't know how I had to tell you that, since you wouldn't know otherwise, but I didn't die. Gosh, man. I shouldn't say that, but I end up going more home, you know. I end up, let's see, I end up going more home. Number 3. Situation number 3. There's this car on the right. He stopped for some reason. He's like either maintaining speed with me, or he's like stopped, and like, and I'm like, well, great, another one. But of course, in that situation, I'm like, well, what are you gonna do, man? What's gonna happen here? Like, I end up, waiting, and like, and it turns out they were just moving into their driveway. Of course, in my mind, I'm like, what's gonna happen? But while I was in that, then I was like, alright, so they were parking right there. Alright, and then I end up going home. Situation number 4. No, paranoia number 4. I don't know, actually, the first one wasn't paranoia, it was just common sense, man. But, yeah, I end up essentially walking more, and there's no more lampposts. There's no more telephone poles that have those lights on it. So it's really dark. And these cars are like going, there's actually more than one, and they're going both directions sometimes. It's not too busy, but at least cars come by. And like, I am on the road, you know, because I'm like, and on my left is like the forest, and then on my right, I guess there's like the sidewalk that I was going on, essentially. I end up, oh man, I need to have a podcast for just these runs, because last time that I went on a run like this, another crazy thing happened. But like, I end up, maybe I should just record it on my phone, on my GoPro or something. like my next runs. I really feel like I should at this point. I should make like a, I don't know, maybe I should. I need to delete space on my phone if I'm gonna do that, but like I'm just gonna do it to say, oh, by the way, guys, this isn't stuff I've been making up. But like, alright. Situation number 4. It's real dark. Suddenly, so like these cars are coming by. I'm like, alright, I really don't want them to. So I end up turning this light on my phone. The crazy thing is, I was thinking about like actually not bringing my phone. I was thinking about not bringing my phone to this, and I was like, yeah, I can just run. I have faith in myself. But oh man, I'm getting a little tired of the story, but because it's my second time telling it, but yeah, I wasn't thinking about bringing my phone. In fact, right before I was like, yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave my phone on this thing right here. It's on like 90%. I'm gonna put on the lowest brightness so that people won't have to get past my passcode. So like by the time they find it, they're like, oh, he said in this note that he was going to this place, to this convenience store, and he's also just running there. Oh, okay. Like, and I did that, and I was like, yeah. But then I ended up thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know, man. Is that really worth it? Should I just bring my phone? I was like, yeah, I'll just bring my phone, man. I brought my phone, my house key, on this run. But back to the part that I was at. It was pretty dark. I turned my flashlight on. You know, these cars are coming by. I turned my flashlight on so that they can see me and I can see the ground. And, you know, the left is the forest a bit of the way, and then whenever a car starts coming on the left towards my direction, I'm like, I'll be a lot farther away if I was on the right side of this. So I go to the right side. I end up going on the right side, and then right after that car passes, another car's coming. And I'm like, oh, well, it turns out that there's actually a car. It was either up ahead or behind me that was like approaching, but they're coming from both directions actually. One was just faster than the other. I could go in my memory, but like it's the story, man. It's not important. But I end up basically on the right side, and I'm like, alright, I'll wait for this one car to pass, then I'll pass this other, and I'm like, alright, I'll try and make sure I can keep walking, you know, like, I'm like, if I keep walking and this car passes, I'll have enough time to switch over to the other side of the road, so that everything's fine, and I end up doing that. You know, I have a lot of experience, like, in cross-country, and running alone, with, like, traffic kind of stuff, and dealing with that. I used to ride my bike home from cross-countries, and I used to, like, deal with weather, and that kind of thing, and I'd always end up doing that kind of thing alone, you know. So I'm used to it. So I'm like, alright, so even at night though, I would once I first had my Hux job, I used to run there and then walk back, or run and walk back, because I used to be in a lot better shape than I am now. I'm still in really good shape. But like, I'm not as much of a runner as I used to be, unfortunately. I really wish I was. I wanted to do 5Ks around here, and still be in the 5Ks and still be a runner. But like, my life changed so much that I just kind of had to adapt to each change. You know, like all throughout high school, you know. And then I went to 4 different places, and I say places because the first 3 were high schools. I graduated the 3rd high school, and then the 4th one was a work program. But and by the way, I switched from 8th grade to high school, living with my dad, you know. I started with living with my dad, and yeah, and and my stepmom and my brothers and sister. There's so many tangents I could go on. So many. But yeah, when I first ended up living on my own, I actually had to learn how to be alone a lot more. Because, you know, even if I was alone during a lot of the things that I did, this was the most alone I've been. Because I end up, like, talking to people online and that kind of thing. But, like, yeah, this is the most alone I've been. So, I end up, but I still go to work a bunch. I still go to work, you know, do that kind of thing. I end up, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. Alright, I'll just continue the story. I end up on this, I keep going on this run, you know, and, or walk, now. But I'm on my way, I'm almost home, you know, I'm like, I don't know, 2,000 feet away, or something like that, like, something around half a mile away, but, or no, like a quarter mile, probably, but I end up, oh man, what is this, like my eyebrow feels weird, but oh man, what is that, seriously, alright, forget it, yeah, I end up, ooh, he had thorns, man. Look at all those. Hey. But yeah, I end up home safely, basically. But dang, that's a lot of stuff to tell. And that's the reason, and that's the legitimate reason why I am correct in being paranoid at times. I think. There's some real and unreal fears, but like at the same time, how would I know? How would I know the difference? With people, you never know. And with I don't know, a lot of situations, you never know. You never know. If I didn't turn around and wonder what would have happened, if I don't know, stuff could have gone wrong in that situation. Let's just say that. But that was crazy. That was 100% crazy. I can't believe I went a whole 30 minutes last time on last stream, and I didn't realize that I wasn't saying anything. But yeah, I guess it just goes to show, like, maybe, I don't know. I want a running partner. I want to meet a running partner, so that I can, like, oh man, that was crazy stuff, wasn't it, man? Yeah, like, oh man, that was insane. Like, I want someone that, I want to run with someone, man. Like, I go online to meet people to run with, and, like, I found literally no people around here who will run with me. I literally go on every app I can to, like, meet someone who would, and no one! 0 people! None! Not a, like, it never happened. I hate it. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, man. I would like to continue running. In my heart, I'm still a runner. Like, I still want to run, man. Like, I still want to, man. But but yeah. And by the way, on the one before this run, I was on my way home, essentially, and I got called a name that was a cuss word. You know what I mean? And that was not fine. And the thing was, they were in a car driving by, and they just say this, and they drive away, and I'm like, wow, very bold. You're very... And I end up getting self-conscious about it on the way home. I'm like, well, dang, am I? I'm like, well, dang. And then I end up thinking about it, I'm like, they're just insecure, man. They're just insecure about themselves, so they end up feeling like they have to put people down in order to feel better about themselves. So, I mean, but it's the truth, man. It happens all the time. But like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've been called a bunch of stuff in my life. I was just minding my own business. It's not like I was hurting anyone. Like, it's really crazy too. Like, just by like living in a specific, you get called stuff. Like, people like, why are you doing this? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Like, people want you to be a specific way. They're like, I wish you were the way that I want you in my mind. And I'm just like, well, I'm not. What do you want from me? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, I go through a lot, man. I just want to live. Just let me do what I want to do. It's like, that's what I want. Like, I just want to, man. But I end up, but back to it. I guess I have dealt with a lot of criticism in my life. A lot of it was non-constructive, man. Like, I just get, man. And, you know, a lot of it's like, alright, well, I don't know what to do with that. I have a life, you know, I can't really do everything everyone wants, and if I did, then I wouldn't be here, because, quite frankly, other people can't live my life for me. Like, other people can't run my life for me, and if they did, then it would be their responsibility. That's the thing. That's why I'm always like, it's my responsibility to live my life, and it's other people's responsibility to handle theirs. I just am handling myself, and as I always do, but I don't know. I don't know. But like, yeah, essentially, that was a story I wanted to get off my chest, man. That was crazy. That was a lot. I wasn't sure if I was gonna stream again, but it's cool that I did, you know. It's cool this situation happened, I suppose, and I did start streaming again. But yeah, that was crazy. 100% crazy. Hopefully next time, next few times won't be as bad as these. But like, I don't even see that one as bad, that one was cool. Like, I'd rather be scared than bored, man. I really would. Like, a lot of the time I just wanna do stuff. I wanna just do stuff. I wanna challenge myself. I want to experience more. I wanna do more. Sometimes. Every once in a while I want to, at least. I wanna put some spice in my life, man. I wanna do some stuff. Yeah, guys, it was crazy, guys. It was 100% crazy. Should I do something? Maybe I'll have, like, a chicken in here. Nope. The odds weren't in my favor in that one. Man, it's only this chest, too. Now. Oh, next time I'm gonna start level 35. Heck yeah. And the fact was, I let this on all night last time. All night. I literally left it on all night. And literally there was no lag when I came back. I'm so surprised by that. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Like, I almost feel like there should have been lag. There should have been a bunch of lag. Like, I left this on all night. It has not... I haven't switched my PC off in, like, I don't know, maybe more... definitely more than 24 hours. And it's been, like, processing zombies coming in constantly. All these mobs. Usually, there would be so much, like, here. You know? That, like, I would, deal with that, you know, I would, handle that, you know? And by the way, this is a storytelling stream, I'm staying here. But, and I'm probably gonna end up just watching TV or something, you know? But, oh man, that was pretty crazy. I don't know why, this stuff always happens, but I feel like that's normal. It's not like, oh, why does this always happen? Like, it happens, man. It just does. it's cool to talk about, at least. Hey, bro. No, bro. Like, bro. Yeah. Yeah, you see? Hey, man. I know. I know. I know. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Alright, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, though. That was crazy. Oh, you know what? It would be better. Here we go. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed it though. I'm gonna leave this on again all night, you know. Yeah, it's going pretty well, I'd say. That's pretty cool that this happened, I suppose. It was exciting. It made my day a lot less boring. I'll remember this day. I'll remember this day a lot better now that I experienced it. But yeah,